Hello beauties and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a twofer. We're going to be installing this gorgeous wig as well as doing a braidless protective style underneath. So let's get started. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and click that notification bell, guys. So now we're going to start off freshly shampooed and conditioned hair, and these are some of the things that I'm using. Just regular stuff like your clips, your combs. We're going to use some small black rubber bands and make sure you oil them a little bit. This is my hair in the box, and now we're going to start off by spraying down my hair with a moisturizing mist as well as applying my hair growth serum, and we're going to give that a really good massage. I'll leave all the information of what I'm using in the description box below. Now we're just going to comb it through really good, make sure all of those good products are evenly distributed through the hair. And also I'm going to be using the Mango Moisture Coconut Custard. So good, triple moisturizing, conditioning, and it keeps the hair so juicy and moist. I'm also going to be using the Magick Genie Aloe Vera Jelly. So good to make nice even clean parts, keeping the hair nice and juicy, locking in all of those good products that I used. And now that I added all the products that I'm going to be using, I'm going to start by making a fairly medium-sized part, starting at the front and going straight down to the back of my hair, just like we would start a regular cornrow or braid. And so I'm going to section the rest of my hair off. And now I'm going to add a little bit more of that jelly, keeping everything nice and clean and moisturized. And I'm going to make a small square section part. And I'm just going to make a little teeny baby ponytail with it with one of my small rubber bands. Now, being the fact that my hair is very, very, very moisturized at this point and it's pretty much wet with the jelly and everything else that I used, I'm not going to make these sections too tight with the rubber bands, because as it dries it's going to get a little bit tighter. So remember to make them not loose but not too tight either, especially if you have soft hair. And you should know that once it starts to feel, that like it's not loose, that's when you can stop wrapping it around. So as you can see, I'm making small sections, parting each one, adding a little bit of jelly to each one, and I'm just making small little ponytails and connecting them to the next section. And I'm wrapping it around with my rubber bands, and as you can see, it makes a nice flat mock cornrow. So this is perfect if you don't know how to cornrow. This is excellent if you don't feel like cornrowing. This is great if you feel like you don't make tight cornrows and that they get, a little messy, or they lift up and they don't last that long. This is a great way to not have to cornrow your hair, but you're still getting a great protective style that will lay flat up underneath of any of your wigs, or even if you wanted to do a crochet style on your hair. This is like a really easy mock way of making your hair lay back like you have cornrows, but you didn't put the work or the time in doing cornrows. So make sure also that you oil your rubber bands before you use them, because these rubber bands can tend to be very dry, and when they're dry they can cause a slight bit of damage on the hair. But as long as you put a little oil on them and don't do them too tight, they won't do any damage to the hair. Also, when taking down your install, you want to make sure that you cut or pop the rubber bands out of your hair, and your hair will not suffer any damage from the rubber bands. As long as you oil them and don't do them too tight, it'll be just like basically like you having a cornrow on your hair. And as you can see, as I'm making each little section and wrapping around the rubber band, I'm also combing that section through to the following section so it all can blend right in together, so I'm not missing any strands. So each section can be evenly distributed with the gel, because that also helps lay it down, and that's also help protecting the hair with this protective style. That's one of the biggest parts of it, using that jelly. The gel is not going to get hard. This aloe vera jelly does not get hard. It does keep everything in place though, as you can see, and it has a really super good slip, so it's going to keep the hair nice and silky and moisturized, and it also heals because it has all that aloe vera in it. Also, it provides a really good slip, and it keeps the hair nice and moisturized and silky. So as you can see, we're coming along with our little small baby ponytails, connecting them and adding, and we're continue to work along straight to the back. And I have 4 big sections going to the back, but you can also do 6 or 8 on whichever one, depending on how thick your hair is. But I think this worked really well for me. It's laying nice and flat, as you can see, just like as if I had 4 cornrows going to the back. And so now we're ready to do our install. This is my wig, and I will be leaving all of the information about this wig in the description box below. This is some of the stuff that it came with. It came with the stocking cap, and this is the beautiful wig. It came with 2 combs in the front and 2 combs in the back, and it's kind of like a T-lace with a little bit of lace around the edges, so it does have a middle part. And I don't know, I think it's going to be a good wig. So we're going to start off by using some Got2b glue. I love using Got2b glue to install my wigs. This is my favorite thing to use. I know a lot of people use a lot of different things, but this is my fave. So we're going to go and just really apply a generous amount of Got2b glue all around the edges and also at the top of my forehead. And we're just going to slick it back with a couple of layers of that Got2b glue. And now we're going to add and put on our stocking cap, and I'm going to put it all the way down to the middle of my forehead, right over my ears, and on top of that we're going to add some more Got2b glue. And by the way, this is the Got2b glue invincible gel. I'll leave which one I used in the description box below as well. And we're just gonna put that on right on top of that cap, as you can see, till it penetrates all the way down. And now we're gonna add and put on our wig. So beautiful, guys. And we're just gonna pull it down to where we want it to be. And I'm gonna pull it down nice and tight along the sides. We're going to adjust those tabs and that lace in the front. Make sure everything is nice and neat and where it needs to be. And now I'm going to start combing this hair back, and I'm going to start spraying it down with some plain old water, guys, just so we get it nice and wet and sleek. Now, when I first got this hair out the box, I did notice it was a lot of shedding, guys. And that's why I'm going to wet this hair down as much as possible so I can easily detangle this hair without losing too much in shedding. So I'm just going to keep spraying it down till it's nice and wet. And as you can see, it is laying beautifully. So now I'm going to go back in and section some of the hair off now that it's nice and wet, and go and clip some of the dead ends off of this hair, because I noticed that when you get these human hair wigs that may have been bleached and processed, and I do believe this hair has been bleached and also permed, because that's exactly what it feels like, hair that's been bleached and permed. It tends to shed more because of that, and clipping those ends off helps reduce that shedding and makes the hair nice and softer, and it makes it easier to comb through and detangle. So almost just like if somebody had really damaged hair from perming and bleaching. So I'm treating this hair just like I would treat human hair on somebody's head. And as you can see, after I clipped all those ends, now I can comb this hair through much easier. And as you can see, there's not any more shedding. So now I'm gonna go through and pluck me some edges. Even though this wig did come pre-plucked, I did a little bit more, and everything's combing through really nicely, guys. No more shedding. And now I'm gonna go ahead and just section off a little bit of the hair that I plucked. And I'm also gonna use some more of that gel to lay down those edges. And I'm just gonna section off a little bit of hair here and there. Small, tiny sections. And then I'm gonna cut those small sections with an angled cut so I can give myself just a little bit of baby hair. I love the baby hair, guys. I'm not even gonna hold you. I'm old school. I love that baby hair look. But I will say that this hair probably didn't need it. It's just something that I like to do. And I'm just gonna take some of that Got2b glue and just swirl it around and lay it down until it feels comfortable to where I like it. But the hair, I have to say, definitely improved the whole texture, and the entire feel of this hair completely changed dramatically after I gave it that trim. So I suggest that any hair that you get that may be shedding, when you first get it, just go ahead and give it a little trim, and it should definitely help improve the quality of the hair. And as you can see, I'm just taking little random sections, guys. I do not have a science to this. Everybody, you know, has their own thing with baby hair. So I'm just going, you know, how it feels to me. If it feels good, then I just go ahead with it. And as you can see, I got my little baby hairs now, and everything's all laying, and I'm loving how it feels. The edges are starting to get nice and tight because they're kind of drying on their own. I didn't use a hair dryer to lay down my edges just because it's so hot in my house today that I just felt like it'll be better off, you know, drying by itself. And it seems to be doing that as I'm working along. And like I said, I'm just going by where I feel like I want to put a little bit of edges, and I'm just snipping and clipping and adding some of that Got2b glue to where I feel like it needs to be, and just laying it down. And I'm not having any, you know, particular method of how I do this. I kind of just go off of how I feel. And so this is the finished look, guys. I want to thank you guys for watching this video all the way through. I really like this wig. At first I was like, I don't know, but it really is the perfect summer wig, guys. Is so beautiful. I love the color. I love the texture. Thanks for watching. Okay, everybody, just to recap everything and then end off the video, I just wanted to let everybody know that the wig that I have is a pretty good wig, and I say it would be perfect to wear at the end of the summer because it's pretty much anti-frizz. And if you get caught in like the rain with like the stormy weather and stuff like that, or if you get wet because you're at the beach or by the pool, it's not gonna it's gonna just look better, because this wig is really meant to have like more of a wet look. So that part is great. But like I was saying in the video, it is going to have to be trimmed. It is going to have to be plucked. It is going to have to be shaped a little bit and detangled to keep it from frizzing and being really tangled, because it did have a lot of shedding. But overall, it took me like a day or two. But overall, I think I really do like this wig. And I'll leave all the information about it in the description box below. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Peace.